Okay, what I want to do is show you how to cut a piece of LVT, a luxury vinyl tile, so that it fits up against the wall. So I have this piece of laminate tile here that I want to install up against this wall. Yeah, I know it all looks bad. That's going to be covered up with trim and paint, so don't worry about that. But anyway, this is how you do this, and you don't actually even need like a tape measure or anything to do this. So what I do is I take a couple of pieces of scrap LVT, and then I take this plank that I want to cut. Okay, so normally this plank would go this way, would be installed this way. And what I want to do is I want to turn it around. All right, so I'm just turning it around, and I'm going to take a spacer. So I have some spacers just kind of laying over there. I'm going to take one of these guys, maybe two of them, and I have my plank laying down right here. So I'm going to take this spacer, and I'm doing this with one hand. So this is, normally I'd be doing this with two hands, but I'm filming this video. So I'm putting my spacers right there at the 6mm point. That's basically what you're going to use here. And I'm going to push this right up here, and that's dipping a little. This is like a long board, so here's another spare board. To keep things as straight as possible, to keep the board as straight as possible, I want the board to be supported. That's why I'm using these spare pieces underneath here. Can't see them, but here they are. And just keeps the board from dipping so that it's straight, so I get a more accurate measure. Now there is a groove that you have to account for. But this is fine. These spacers are right here. And then I can push this a little bit over, up on top, and I can see exactly where I need to cut. So I've pushed this board on top of the rest of the floor, and I can see, oh hey, I need to cut right there. And I'm not even gonna make a line actually. I'm just gonna take, now this board this side is actually gonna be up against that wall. So keep that in mind. This is reversed. You don't wanna be riding on the side that you're not gonna cut on. So I'm gonna make a little mark right here, and that's gonna tell me exactly how much I have to cut out. It's barely visible, actually. That might actually be a little problematic for me because I can barely see it. So there it is. And that's really all I need, is just make that little mark right there. Tells me where I need to cut. And I'm gonna use this LVT or laminate cutter, right? So let's just go ahead and do that. Take my LVT, and I'm gonna put it in right here. Okay, and just basically you can pull this down a little bit to get it, like, pull this lever down right here. You can pull this lever down just a little bit so I can see if I'm right on the mark. I'm not quite there, so I'm gonna move it just a little bit back. Okay, looks like that was a little too far. There we go. Not quite either, hold on. Again, I'm trying to do this with one hand, so forgive me if this is looking a little more unprofessional. All right, and then I'm gonna pull this lever down. Okay, I'm using the blade to hold it in place, and I'm just gonna pull and do my cut. There we go. We have this cut piece of LVT, and I'm gonna turn it around. And as you can see, it will now fit into place. and account for the space that's needed there. So that's how you cut a piece of LVT to save time and not actually need any measuring tape.